Good morning guys, Sheila here from Life with Pets. So I was going to do a vlog style video yesterday, but the weather had very different ideas. We ended up with flooding, it was raining so hard, really windy, and so it was just really noisy in the house, so I couldn't do it. So I was doing my list this morning, realised I still had a lot of fishy things to do, and so I thought that I would pick up the camera and have a go today. I will say it is supposed to be really rainy again today and very windy, so I'm hoping that that's not going to affect sound or anything on the video. So I'm going to start with 4 tanks I need to do water changes on. I am able to do them all at the same time, which makes it really easy for me, so I thought I'd show you that process. And then I've got a few other things that I'm going to be doing today that I will try and vlog as well. So let's go and get on with the day. So while the tanks are draining, I usually then go ahead and do the filters if any of them need doing. Belfin's needs doing every week, and as you can see, just look how disgusting that is. That is 1 week. That is the mess that he has made. So I am going to put this into, I'm sorry if the camera is covered at this point, into there, and then I go and clean it. So the water draining from all 4 tanks is going into the sink, but what I do if I'm going to be cleaning a filter out is I then just make sure that the tank that's draining is the only one draining into here, because obviously I only want that water to be cleaning the sponge filter, so I just add the others over onto this side. So the tanks are still draining, they're just going through here. As you can see, this is absolutely disgusting, and this is basically a weekly thing. It just ends up so full of muck that I have to do it once a week. The sponge filter in the tank, I usually do that about every 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes I'll go a little longer because this one does seem to get much more dirty than the other one. The filter floss, if it's really bad, I will then change it out, but very often I do actually just rinse it out and then I will use it again, but not always. I like to say sometimes it's just easier to get a new piece, but just for the sake of this video I am going to reuse it, and you can see that it does actually come pretty clean. And then I do have just like another coarse filter pad in there as well that just gets all the muck, and I do actually think this one I need to replace. This one is totally disgusting. Once I've rinsed them out, then I'm just going to put it back into the hang on the back filter. The water that I'm using is coming from Belfin's tank. You always want to use aquarium water so that you don't kill off the bacteria in the sponges. On Belfin's tank, I will typically do a 50 to 60% water change, very often twice a week, and I'm about at 50% now, so I am going to stop it and then I can then start the refilling process. While the tanks have been emptying, I did fill up this bucket and it has our pond pump in, and that is basically how I refill the tanks. So the pond pump will pump the water through this and then into Belfin's tank. So I'm just going to switch it on and then you'll see that go through. You're going to get probably buzzing now, so I have to apologise for that. I have already treated this water, and I do also treat the tank water as well, just to be on the safe side that I have put enough in. I do get the temperature to match the best I can. So while that one is filling, I then always move on to this one, which as you can see is emptying. Again, I usually do between 30 and 40% on most of my tanks. It really does just depend. So with this one now, I will go through, disturb all the sand and sort of tidy it all up, and then this one will be ready to be filled. So Belfin's tank is now done and all clean, and this one is now filling back up. So this is how I do it. I sort of will start one emptying, or I start them all emptying at once, because right now that one is being emptied, this one is emptying, and this one is emptying, and then I just basically then go back around them all and fill them back up. You have to excuse the noise of the water, but you see you do need to fill the buckets. So this tank is now all filled up, and I'm now going to move on to this one. This one is probably about as empty as I'm going to take it. I usually only do around 30% on this. I rarely ever gravel vac, so I just leave this in here, and basically the water just drains out, and unfortunately that's probably all the noise that you can hear. In this one I am very thorough with the gravel vac, just basically because we do have a lot of snails in here and shrimp in here, but I do have to be very, very careful when doing it so as not to obviously suck up any shrimp. So this tank is probably my least favourite to actually take care of, and that is simply because it does take extra work in that I usually will drain out into a clear white bucket. That way I can then see if I have sucked anything up. This one, it does get very dirty due to the sheer volume of shrimp in here. We have so many shrimp. The population explosion is absolutely unbelievable, and obviously I don't want to be sucking up any babies because they are so tiny. So I do it usually into a bucket, and then I let it all settle, and I then look for the shrimp and getting them out. So this tank is actually quite time consuming because of the shrimp. I do also like to do a very large water change on it, and it just takes a long time doing what I'm doing now because I do try to be very, very careful in looking where I'm going so that I can get as much of the dirt out as possible, but obviously without sucking any shrimp up. If I do see that I have, like now I can see that there are some in there, then I will, there we go, then I will pinch it. In fact, there's another one in there. I pinch it to stop it, and then I wait for them to swim out. They usually swim out very, very quickly. So it's actually very rare I end up with any in the bucket, but I do like to make sure. So this tank, a lot of work but well worth it, and we do a very large water changes on it, and I do that twice a week. So that's all 4 tanks cleaned, and it typically takes me about 30 to 40 minutes, and I'm just going to actually feed the shrimp, and I'm also going to feed Belfin. The others I will feed later on today. I do think it's probably counterproductive. I maybe should have fed them before I decided to do a water change, but this is just something I do. I don't know why I do it this way around. I just do. I like to do the water change and then feed them. There's no reason for it. It's just what I like to do. You'll have to excuse some of the angle shots I have got today. Unfortunately, where these tanks are is not very easy to set up a tripod and stuff. So, alright, Belfin is well ready to eat. So, here we go. This stuff, I actually made it a little loose this time, so it's going to make more mess in the water, but he loves it nonetheless. And it does soon clear up as well. Sometimes I feel when I do a water change, the tanks look more of a mess when I've done the water change than they do before I've done a water change. As I have said in the past with this food, I do like to break it up into small pieces because then he basically will spend so long going through and sifting the sand for all like the little tiny particles. Also, it does mean that the snails will actually get some as well. Otherwise, he is such a greedy boy, he actually will end up with it all. So this is a good way to make sure everyone gets fed in the tank. The shrimp are all now chowing down on this as well, along with some of the snails. Again, this tank always looks a lot worse after I've done a water change than it probably did before, but I know now that the water's nice and clean. The whole process usually takes me about 30 to 40 minutes. Obviously, videoing this, it took a lot longer, but that is typically what it takes me to do, between 30 and 50% on 4 tanks. I did add some of the food into here, and these rummy-nosed love it as well, along with Jasmine. She has just pigged out on it, and usually the shrimp will come, and we do have a few snails in here as well, so they will come and eat down on it as well. In case you heard any tapping during the video, it was from this young man here, or should I say old man. He was tapping around, following me, follows me everywhere. Now he's asleep. Well, I say he's asleep. He's listening to everything I'm saying. There we go, up he gets. You want to say hi to everybody? You do? You want to say hi? Yeah? He's such a cute boy. So this is what arrived. It has his sticker on it. So let's take a look. Wow, just look at that. Now I believe Priscilla from Priscilla's, I think it's Priscilla MK Art, actually did this drawing. This is something that she's drawn, and then I do know that I think she's selling the prints for it, but obviously minus the 2019. So let's just take a quick look at some of the pictures in here, because obviously I don't want to give it all away. So we'll just take a look at a few of them, and then I will see if I can find ours. So that's February, and then we've got March, and that's all I'm going to show you at this point. I'm going to quickly flick through and see if I can find us, see if we are actually in here, and then I will show you that one. So I found us, and just look at that, we are in September, and of course we had to use bellfin. So this was the picture that we submitted, and I'm really pleased that it did actually get into the calendar. Alright, that is all I'm going to show you on that one. Like I say, if you do want to get your own copy, I will leave a link to it in the description box below. So for the rest of the afternoon, I ended up actually spending the time drawing these designs out onto the test tube holders that we sell on our website. We had several orders, and I had gotten a little behind in doing these. I have to obviously draw the design and then burn it into the wood, and then I also go through and do several layers of stain. So I did actually spend a good few hours doing these to get the orders that I already had done, and then to be able to get a few more of them onto the website. So this was basically the rest of my afternoon. Not that exciting, but it is what I ended up doing. I do hope you guys have enjoyed the slightly different videos that we've done through this month. I have got some more very specific betta fish videos coming that I'm actually working on right now, and hopefully they will be out in January. I do hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Day, and I do hope that you have a great day for those that celebrate it. And from us here at Life with Pets, we just want to say a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you guys so much for supporting our channel, watching our videos, leaving comments and the likes on the videos. We just want to thank you guys so much for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting us, and we'll see you in our next video.